What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube videos. I haven't done one in a bit, but I really want to get it back into doing a lot of YouTube videos, educational content, interviews, which we will be doing today with one of our traders in our private Discord community, one of my students here at the Small Players Big Gains Club community. And you guys might know him if you've been trading in Discord. Mike, or Dr. Mike, is known by many in our Discord. How you doing, man? Thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate you.
For sure. Glad to be here.
Well, Mike, so a lot of people in our community already know you, but also we're going to get a bunch of viewers on the YouTube video that don't know who you are. Can you give a little background on who you are, maybe where you live, I don't know, whatever information you think it's useful or that they should know about, and how you get started into trading?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 40 years old, and I get a lot of crap from you guys in the Discord.
But, wait, you're 40? No, honestly, I'm not even joking until you were like 33, 34.
Oh, well, thanks, man.
No.
I got my PhD in education. I'm a professor by trade. I got that at 30 years old, and was like an athlete. I'm in health and wellness field, so I teach in kinesiology. But then, after time goes by, you don't want to be complacent. I've always wanted to just like try new things, expand myself and build new skills. And that's when I started remodeling homes and flipping homes and, building up a real estate portfolio. And then for somehow, like, I don't know, about 2.5 years ago, I landed. I literally think I just saw your ad or something, that you had put out.
Wait, I didn't do paid ads, so you probably just organically saw one of my videos.
All right, my bad.
I need to say that.
Yeah, so it was like maybe Instagram or something, and then I was like, I dabbled in trading back in the day when I was really young, lost like $8,000 on some stupid thing, and then I was like, I'm gonna get into it again. And so that's where it all started. And that's been about now 2.5 years.
And okay, so you said you had other things going on, right? You were a professor, you had a real estate portfolio, so you're doing really well in life. You're just an extra stream of income that you're like, you know what? Let me just dive into this. And when you first get in, like, how was that? Like, did you know anything? You said you dabbled a little bit back in the day. I don't know if that was just someone told you, hey, invest in this, and you did, and you lost the money, or did you have any actual did you watch YouTube videos? Did you buy a course? Did you actually have the fundamentals of how to become a trader? You just kind of dove in?
Yeah, just dove in. Like, I think Straight Path was going to be bought out by Verizon or something back in the day. And like, we were looking at like some sort of way out of the money calls from my like buddy, and we were like, let's do it. And it lost money. It was stupid. And so that's like, I had no recollection on any of the Delta, all the Greeks, nothing. I mean, I didn't even know charting anything, and so a long time passes, and I'm in my job as a professor, and being a professor, I got tons of free time. So I figured, why don't I actually start getting into this, really.
And when you first dove in, did you like, okay, let me educate myself, let me watch some videos, let me learn some stuff, or did you like, let me load up a broker account and let me just fucking throw money everywhere until you figure something out?
The latter, yeah, definitely.
The latter. So
like a rookie, man, totally like an idiot. Like some of the newbies I see, they're doing very similar, things that I've done, and it's not good. What happened was that really got me and hit me hard was I was just like swinging calls left and right, not really losing that much money, up and down, up and down. And then one day I swung like 20 grand because I was just throwing money around. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like just being stupid, 20 grand on NVIDIA calls the day before. Well, that night they said that they're doing like a 4-to-1 split or something. Like, it was just unbelievable. I woke up.
Was that just luck? Straight up, like, you're like, hey, I like NVIDIA, let me put in some money, and then fucking news came out?
Bro, you don't even know. I came up with like 180 grand. I woke up.
Oh my.
9:31 with 180 grand in my account.
Well, that's like a Wall Street Reddit type of like, hey, I just put 20 grand, I got 180. Well, how was that feeling though? Like, you made 180 grand. I'm sure that you were like you're
Dude,
on cloud 9.
I thought I knew what the fuck I was doing. Sorry, I thought I knew what I was doing. I was like, this is the easiest thing ever. What is everyone talking about? Um, and I was super. That's definitely not the case. So ultimately, I lost that. If you can believe that, I lost
You
a
lost all 180. You didn't even keep that 20 original.
hundred. Oh, so I'm glad that we're doing the interview, right? Because I think it's important that everyone knows, like, we're all coming from somewhere, and
Mhm.
so I lost that 180, obviously, with over time, probably 3 or 4 months, and then I even went deeper into my pockets, losing more money. I'm still down overall, and then I think it was just this past summer when I realized that I need to, if I'm going to do this, I need to like really treat this like a business. Like I can't be numb to money, and I need to like do what I do with all my other things that I've been successful in, is dedicate myself and be smart, you know?
So when you blew that 180,000 dug back into your pockets, you still had like not really learning, like you weren't like studying, you weren't spending time after market, spending hours reading, learning how to read a chart, learning about indicators, supply and demand, all these other things that we kind of preach about. You were just kind of like, hey, I made the 180,000. How did that happen? I'm sure I can make it happen again.
Yeah, I started losing, right? And I lost a lot of it. And then I started diving in my pockets, and then I started trying to really learn.
Mhm.
Um, but I was still losing. I was using the 921 cross, the EMAs I was using, I was doing very basic, charting things. Um, I tried a bunch of other discords. Hey, no offense, I know you call me out about a couple other ones, but I tried to
No, I was joking with you. I was messing with you.
and
Where was the switch? At what point were you like, okay, enough is enough. I'm just gonna actually focus on learning. I'm not just gonna be like looking at a couple of YouTube videos here and there, basic strategies. And most often now, if a strategy is very basic and very well known, it's on a work long term because the market doesn't want anything easy to be played out. Where was the switch at?
yeah, it was over the summer. Like over time, I still couldn't find my niche. I still was losing like consistent. I wasn't consistent. I would win a lot, then I would lose a ton, and I would not stick to particular rules that I've now developed over time. And it was a trial and error thing. Unfortunately, it's been at the expense. I mean, shit, I'm like still down overall, like probably like 40 grand, I think overall, which is amazing because I was down. I was down a lot more, over 100 and probably 150 out of my pocket. That's including the win. So like if you think net, it was like a 330K swing that I have lost over time. I mean, that's insane.
Well, you know what's insane about this? The insane part is that I think you were bit of a victim of your own success in a way, where like you were doing real estate, you were successful in so many other fields that you had so much money that for you losing that money wasn't like huge, right? Like you had $100,000 to spend to waste, right? While someone that doesn't have that, that can be like their version losing $10,000. Like how you felt losing all that money, it could be someone else that lost $10,000. But like, hey, if you only make $40,000 a year, $10,000 hurts a lot, right? So it's not. I would say it's not as much about how much the dollar amount that you lost, because everybody's a little bit different. Is a bit more on how much can you handle, right? Like if you only have $1,000 in your savings and you put all 1,000 into a trade and you lose it,
Yeah,
you got nothing to your name. So
I agree.
in that way, you probably had a lot of money. I'm just guessing, a lot of money, right? You
I,
had a lot of money that you've earned through your other endeavors. That you were a little bit victim of your success. That you're like, hey, let me put in 100K. I'll give this shit a try. Well,
yeah,
let's say you didn't have that. You're like, hey, not only have $10,000 to my name, I gotta be patient. I'll be smart. Maybe I'll start off very little, and then I get to learn a little bit more. And that's one of the things I tell beginners is that a lot of people have the potential to become great traders, is that they put themselves in a hole too early because they're so excited. They're like, hey, let me load up a Robinhood and read shit on Reddit and throw some money here and there because they think they know it all, and they lose their money before they get to the learning. But I'm happy for you that you were able to dug yourself out of that and kind
still,
of get to the
I'm
learning eventually.
No, thanks, man. And like I'm still digging myself out, right? And I had to set these rules, but ultimately, I think what it was, because I'm really hard headed. I really think that that I know what I'm doing, and whatever. I have to get over my own self, to really be successful. And I had to hit rock bottom. I mean, shit. I even took out cash advances on my credit card. Like I'm gonna be straight up. Like it was just insane. Like, and so now finally, like, I hit rock bottom. In the past probably 3 or 4 months, I've really seen some success. I really have put together like a strategy, like a set of rules that I am able to be successful with. And the charting and like the additional learning and the TA that you guys have been sharing with me has been like, I mean, I can't thank you enough. That's why I'm here. I want to do anything I can to like give back, right? Because like Antonio, you, Don, Henny, freaking, Zeus, you guys have been just unreal. Like I can't thank you guys enough. You like really have helped me claw out of this like pit that I did for myself.
Well, thank you for that. And that's kind of what we're here for. We're trying to help people that education part, because you're not the only one, right? Everybody's like, actually my one of my mentors, right, that I started with in 2008. That's when he got into trading, the financial crisis. He was $200,000 in a hole, and luckily for him, he came from a wealthy family that 200,000 was really his parents. But he started with negative 200,000, and then eventually I was like, he's like, enough is enough. I actually got to learn shit. I can't just be trading. And then he got to the learning, and then over the past 12 for I don't even know 15 years now, he's done really, really well. Made millions of dollars in the markets. But the issue is that it goes back to that first thing I mentioned a little earlier, was that it's so easy to set up your broker that people just lose their money before they can learn. Like, I wish there was a way, or I wish that all the brokers forced you to take a course before you can put your money in and actually take a trade. I felt like we'll see the successful trader, like the percent really increase. Everybody knows like 95% of traders fail. And I will say almost all of those guys, or majority of them, are people that never get to the learning part. You're hard headed, but a lot of humans are hard headed, that they just think they know it all. They don't want to hear, people tell them like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do it this way. So they have to learn the hard way. As many times as like, I'm here on social media trying to tell people, hey, get to education first. They just gotta learn the hard way. Just like when my parents were telling me like, hey, don't do drugs, and then you're like, no, I'm still gonna try something. Don't drink. You're still gonna go drink. People just gotta learn through their own mistakes.
Yeah.
Well,
they take drugs and drink, and they get some, and then they're like, all right, I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you gotta learn the hard way, and some people never learn, which is unfortunate. But what are some of your rules? You say that now you found a lot of success. People see them. You are up over $3,000 on this month, and it's not just a 1 month that I wouldn't have you on here if it was just 1 month. You've been doing this for a few months now. The last 4 to 5 months, as far as I can recall, you've been extremely successful. Putting in those 5-figure days. That 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Hopefully, you get to 50,000 for this month within the next week. What was some of your rules, or what are some things that you could help someone, or you could tell someone that's a beginner trying to learn?
Yeah, for sure. Couple things. I'll just rattle them off, right? Because there's a lot. But definitely, I'm not trading for fun. I'm not doing it for thrills. I'm not doing it for gambling. I'm not doing it for any of that. It's for a business. And if I'm green, I'd be happy. Don't overtrade. I try to stop around 11:30 and just done. If I'm in green, I take it. And if it's 2 grand, then fine. I mean, one day I was up 500 and I was like, I'm done. Like, I've lost too much money and left it on the table too many times after 12, 1 o'clock, to where I'm just like, I'm done with doing that. I learned, I've failed, and so now I do that. And another thing is like, I have to analyze. I have to be in the market. If I don't have time to be able to look at the market and do my analysis and do the things that I normally do, just don't trade. Like the other day, I went to Vegas and like, when I hung out, and I messaged you guys. I was like, all right, who's gonna give me the alert? I'm just gonna just and that may happen because that's what I used to do. Like, I know a lot of us, are getting alerts and stuff. You still have to look. You still have to do your own analysis too. You got to know when your entry is. You got to know and if you miss your entry, you can't just jump in and just so I have had that as like a really set good rule for me, to like take time in the market to analyze. You know, um, I have a system like I use DXY, I use ES, and I always look at that, and then I look at volume. I do a lot of chart, just traditional like just basic chart patterns. Trying to learn other things that I'm constantly wanting to grow and learn what everybody else is doing, and trying to see if it works in my success. So like I've been working on these big breaker blocks and order blocks with Dawn, and then I liked what you were doing with the Elliott waves, those like breakdowns of the reversals of Elliott waves, which I know about Elliott waves as well. Like so I've soaked up so many different approaches and practices and tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed to the point where now I now have tried, and now I'm like winning. I'm winning. Everything that I'm doing now, I'm winning. And if I don't stick to my rules, I lose. Things like holding for way too long and not cutting short is another one. And that was a real big problem of mine, thinking that that it's just going to come back, and I would lose my ass on that. So those are just a few that I have going on right now.
Touch back on kind of that alert thing that you just mentioned. A lot of beginners that see that mistake they make is they'll be at work. There's a ton and they're like, I'm working. They're like, I'll take it, I'll see the alert, I'll take the trade. And then like, okay, we're in the trade. The trade's up 20%. I'm like, hey guys, I'm taking profits here. I'm on my stop loss to break even. Boom, green trade. Trade goes up to 40%. I'm like, hey guys, second partial profit here. I moved my stop loss at positive 20%. No matter what happens, we're green. This can happen in a matter of 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, just depending on the traders. And they 2 hours later, they forgot they're in a trade, like on a Robin and Up or Webull or Mumu, whatever it may be. They come back 2 hours later and they're red on a trade, which we were way past. We closed it, and people are like, "Oh, what's up with this trade?" I'm like, "Well, that's it. Go back. I've alerted many times over that I took profits, and try to say at least 3 to 5 times every time I take profits, so everybody really gets it." So I try to tell people we're actively day trading. We're not swing trading. We're very rarely doing that if we are. So day trading, you need to be sitting down and have at least an hour of time that you can sit down and focus on the charts. Look at the charts. If you're in the Discord, look at the Discord. Look at both of those things. That's why you see me very similar to Mike. I stick to mostly trading the open 9:30 to 11, and maybe I'll do a Twitch live stream and I'll trade for that for a little bit. We usually trade a smaller size doing that, and then I'm kind of done for the day. You just need an hour. Like you don't have to do 9:30 to 11. It can be your 3 to 4 p.m. power hour. It can be 12 to 2. But unless you're focused 100% trading, it's way too difficult of a thing to do that you think you can do from work as you're working your other stuff. So you need to be nailed down, you need to be dialed in, especially if you're day trading. Day trading, one piece of news can tank the market, and then before you know it, you lost your money. Or not set stop losses and not be I always give a stop loss in every call out. If you don't take it, I don't know what else to tell you, right? You gotta be diligent, you gotta have your rules set, and just like Mike's talking about, not all rules gotta be the same. You don't have to have the same exact rules that I have. Sure, me and Mike have different rules that we use, but we're both successful. And trying things and learning and educating yourself and paper trading, you can see what's out there. You can see all the information that's out there and see what works for you. For that. So, but a lot of great points, Mike, that you spoke about. If you were to describe yourself as a trader, like what would you say you are? Like what would you say is your go-to strategy right now that you're finding success with?
So I am, more of like a scalp trader. I want to be in and out. I don't want to sit with my money in the market. I feel like I have, been burned too many times with too many influences. And if my analysis isn't playing out, then I need to cut. And sometimes I'll hold, if I still see like, on a longer time frame from like, my other, indicators like DXY or ES is showing, whether it's bull or bear, just depending on what I'm in, calls or puts. But I really have found success with charting, looking at patterns and then evaluating the breaks through volume. That's where I've been finding most of my success. Now, a lot of this, everyone, I have to battle my own psychology, my own mental game. Um, I want to try to, increase my position size. And the other day I tried to increase my position size, and I was saying in the Discord, I was at like 15K for a position, and my heart was literally
So
beating.
you bought $50,000 worth or 15?
$15,000 worth
15,000. Okay.
of AMD.
Hmm.
My heart was literally pumping out of my chest, and I just I didn't feel comfortable. And it's not that I didn't trust like why I got in or what I was doing. It's just that I was swaying out of what my normal consistent rules are. Is like I want to be around 5 to 10K of a position, and I can be successful. I can get 3 grand a day with those type of trades, and I'm gonna
Well,
cash.
but those are amazing returns. If you're putting up, like, you have a real estate background. If you're putting up $10,000 in real estate, you're not making 3,000. Right? You can't get anything. First of all, you can't even get anything for that
Exactly.
much, for that little money. But also, you have to be careful of the downside. Those are great returns. So if you're using 5 to 10,000 to make 3,000 a day, is 3,000 a day is almost what, $500,000 a year, if my math is correct,
Yeah.
off the top. Because I know 5,000 a day trading makes you $1 million, so you'll
Yeah.
be somewhere around $500,000, which you're kind of on pace for. It's early. We're early in January, but you're well on pace for that.
I am, man. I am. And I said that, that if I stick around this, I'll be hitting half a mil. And that's my goal, to be at half a mil for the year. And the only way that that's going to happen is I just continue to do what I'm doing. Don't sway away from it. Every day has to be the same and consistent for me. And if I start to think that again, like I go back in that mindset of, oh, I can do this. This is easy. Like, let's just position size bigger, or let's just, fucking do something different. That's when I fail. And so I'm not doing it. And I have only had 2 red days in the month of January. The month of December, I had 3 red days. And November and October were pretty similar. I can't remember what they were, but I've found success now in the past 4 or 5 months, using this mindset. But yet I'm still fighting my own mental problem, and it's going to be a constant battle. And I need to clean it up. Little things like some of my red days are big, and I need to figure out why. And I know why now, and I need to figure out why am I not sticking to not
Your
making
role.
it, not letting that happen. That's the thing. Like I know why, but freaking do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about all the time. Training is 90% emotions, right? I can teach you you can know all the technical stuff. I can teach it to you, but it's like, are you actually gonna follow those, or are you gonna be like, well, I'm done at 1,000. Maybe I'll come up and I'll close at 500, and then you're down to 1,000, right? No, you need to just be, it is what it is. I'm closing it, even if like shit, it went right back up. If I held, they would have been green. Yes, for that one time, that might have been the case, but over the long term of your career, more often than not, it's not gonna be the case. You don't want to blow up your account. You don't want to. I see beginners do this all the time. It's like one really bad day, they let a day that's a red day really wipe them out. Let's say maybe they have a month of gains. They're like, oh yeah, I'm up 5,000. But then they think like, oh, I made 5,000. Let me trade with all 5,000. They trade 5,000. They have one bad day and they're back down to like $1,000. They take huge losses. And that's, you mentioned this too, that when you $15,000 felt too big of a position for you, even though you're good with 5 to 10,000. People get increasing your position size very wrong. Like I rarely think someone should ever increase their position size. It should be like, let's say you have a goal of it, you have $1,000. Let's say your goal is 5,000. If you get to 5,000, you take out 4. You go back to 1,000. You don't trade with all 5,000 because you're not 5 times better of a trader. You're trading with 5 times the amount of money. So I think any beginner, if you start making money, take it out, start with your initial balance, and until you probably can triple that account 3 or 4 times, you shouldn't be sizing up. For me, I've been trading with somewhere around 10 to 20,000 for the past year, and I have no need of being like, oh, let me take a $50,000 position, $100,000 position. I have here and there, but again, I feel kind of like Mike. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. And once you don't feel comfortable and your head starts spinning, you start thinking about all this other shit, that's when your training goes bad. Because it's all about the emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
You gotta be. Also, Mike, I'm gonna be sharing that Mike shares he tracks all his trades, right? He has a beautiful calendar. He colors it in. He writes a little notes. It looks really cute, and I'm gonna be sharing it here for everybody to see. And if you're gonna be a successful trader, I think you should be doing what Mike's doing. Write down, okay, how much did you make? How much did you lose? What the trade was, and then you can really go in a lot more details of what went wrong, what went good, right? So I think you're doing a great job, Mike, on tracking it, and it kind of keeps you accountable. if you see something like, "Whoa, I had a really bad red day," you can ask yourself, "What did I do wrong?" Because at the end of the day, it comes down to probably not respecting your stop loss, not respecting if you have a daily loss limit. Let's say like, hey, once you lose 2 to 3 thousand, I'm not just done for the day. I'll just start off tomorrow. That can really limit yourself. And it's actually something me and Mike had spoken about. Was in December or was in November. It was one of those months that you had a really big red day. And I was like, Mike, you need to, if you lower down your red days, you're gonna be making millions of dollars. And then looking at his calendar the last 2 months, you definitely cleaned that up and you've done a really good job of limiting your losses and keeping your wins really big.
Yeah.
Also, I remember someone in the Discord asking, how are you making 5 figures a day? Like, can you explain that? Like, some people can't wrap their heads around people making
Why?
5 figures a day.
Yeah. I don't know why it's confusing to some, but let me try to clear anything else to like help them in any way I can. So my position size is like 5 to 10K.
Mhm.
I'm happy with not cutting. I'm happy with trimming and even exiting a position at 25%, 35%. I'm good. Like I'm happy. I don't need to like wait for 50 to hit or 100. I don't have like a specific thing. It's just over time I've gotten like so comfortable in a feel for like what the market is doing. Like Fridays for sure. I know that it's going to be super volatile in the beginning, and I don't take ODT like 0 days. I don't take
So you
0.
never trade 0 dates? You never?
No, I mean I'll take like a 2 day, with a SPY or QQQ, but I don't take 0 days. It's freaking gambling. It's gambling to me. I don't want to do it. It gets me uncomfortable, and yeah, big risk, but also it could be big reward, but it could be a big loss. And so I take profits, man. I take profits and I stack my chips. And so like I'm good with the 5, 10K. If I get 20%, what's 20% of a $10,000 position? That's 2,000.
1,000, right? Yeah.
2,000, right? So I'm in,
But
2,000.
then where would you take your stop? Like, where would you keep your stop loss for that? Do you keep your stop loss at a percent, or do you keep your stop loss kind of looking at the charts, or a little bit of both?
I kind of look at both. Lately, I've been finding more success if I just do like a mental thing of like around 24%, 25%. Is that if I'm at 24, 25%, I need to cut it, and I need to like do a red to green strategy where if it gets back into my pattern, and it's back in validated, then I'll enter again, and we'll see if I can win that back. But trying to do like the hope, that's been failing. I don't do that. I don't just hope anymore. I can't hope that something's gonna turn around because it just doesn't.
Um, no, that's great. That you mentioned that, because that's probably the number one thing that a beginner always wants to. They're just hoping. They're hoping like some kind of something. Just I don't know what they're hoping for. The kind of news or something that goes up, and they make back their losses. And with losses, you have to really think about cutting your losses is so important, because once let's say you have a $10,000 account, let's say you lose 3,000. Now you have a $7,000 account. It's gonna be, you need to dig to even see a profit. You need to make 3,000. So you have less money to work with, and you just digging yourself out just to break even, right? So cutting those losses quick is extremely important. And then we try to preach that in the Discord if you're in Discord. And then some people follow and they find success. Some people don't follow, and you just again have to learn the hard way. And hopefully you learn it and you can fix those mistakes. But they're not gonna be easy to fix. Um, Mike, for your plans for the year, right? You said you're looking for that $500,000 goal for the year, which is a pretty big goal, but you're on track you're on track for January. So we're hoping you keep it up. I noticed that you trade only like a very small amount of stocks. You trade mostly, I would say, in AMD, Nvidia, and maybe the SPY. Do you keep your watch list very small on purpose, or how do you choose what to trade for the day?
I love trading AMD and then Nvidia. You and I were messing around before, like, don't give out Nvidia call outs. That's my stock, but whatever.
If I call out MD, it's Mike's play anyway.
I know. No, I like. Uh, it's funny. I looked at my Thinkorswim just yesterday of the difference between last year and this year so
Mhm.
far. I've only traded 5 stocks this year: QQQ, SPY, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla. And I don't know why I was in a BABA. Like I had, some profit of BABA.
No, you took my call out. I remember that day.
Yeah, I
take
think
some outputs, and then you,
it was a gap fill of Baba, and I was like,
yeah,
all right, I'm just gonna do this. I see the gap fill, I'm gonna play that, and I'm like made $895 on that. So the overall like summary of
yeah, yeah,
all.
yeah. Overall,
But then I remember I did that review of 2022, and I had like probably 14 or like 16 different stocks, and it was all over the place. I like just sticking with just the few that I mentioned. It's better for me. I can like almost,
you
weird.
know how to trade. You get familiar with it. You get intimate with those stocks.
Like I'm in,
Intimate.
like I'm in it, knowing and feeling it. It's crazy feeling, dude. It's crazy, and I know you know what I'm talking about. It's just
Yeah.
if I'm all over the place, I feel uncomfortable. It's like
Well, I tell people that your watch list shouldn't be more than like at the max 5 stocks for that day, at the max, right? And if you trade things now, if you trade like those penny stocks that like don't move, you're trying to like trade that. Like, of course, like I don't know, you need 100 of them to watch 100 of them to see which one's gonna run. But if you're trading blue chips, you're trading options like the way we do. You only need the SPY realistically. You can literally just trade a SPY, and you see a lot of people have really have a lot of success doing that. Or you can trade a very small group of stocks. Example, AMD, Nvidia, Tesla, SPY. That's one of those are my top. Then sometimes I'll throw in a couple other things in there, depending on what I saw on the charts. Um, and also you have to learn how to short, right? The big difference between the last year's market and the year before is everybody knew how to trade on the long side. They were doing just great. Then the market tanks, everybody lost all their money. While I actually had one of my best years was last year during the bear market. I mean, the most amount of money I had, my biggest days during that year, and that goes back to learning how to long and short. What are some of your goals for this year to bring you up to that next stage? To bring you up, I know your goal is 500,000, but I'm sure you're always learning. You're always trying to find new things. Like, do you have anything you're like, hey, I'm gonna focus on this, and I think this can take me up a notch even more.
Yeah. I think I need to get a little bit better with some of the levels and like key reversals that go on through.
With the levels, you mean like support, resistance, supply, and demand levels, correct?
Exactly. Get a little bit better, being able to graph, chart, those breaker blocks and order blocks, because I have seen some consistencies of like huge reactions, and obviously seeing a lot of people in the Discord they're successful with that. So if I feel like if I bring that in and couple that with already what I'm doing, it's just going to elevate my game just a lot better. I want to really, improve on my entries. I want to get better on my entries, so I think that will help me. Um, sometimes I jump in a little too quick. I need to evaluate the volume. But overall, like it's just a constant. Like I'm just constantly trying to stick with what I got going on, but then continue to evolve and be better and grow. I got to always be one step, and I have this mindset. I don't know if this is something that you do or not, but I'm like competing against other people, basically.
Mhm.
And if I just, come in, not analyze the market, just come in, wake up 9:20, looking, get an alert, just throw in money. I mean, there's people who are sitting here. This is their life. This is their day to
Yep.
day, right?
And you're
Um,
not taking their fucking money, at least
exactly.
I
And
feel like it.
I want to take their money, which I do.
Yeah.
I want to
Well,
make.
well, you know me, Mike. Do you think I'm competitive or not?
I'm competitive. Yeah.
That's the thing about trading is like, like Mike, you're describing it perfectly. There's people out there that they dedicate their life. There's people like me. You're not taking my fucking money. If you think you can, you can just come in the market on your Robin app and make a ton of money, unless you get lucky or something crazy, you're not gonna take our money, right? So you have to be in a mindset. It's like I'm on attack mode. I'm not playing passive, right? You have to be intentional with what you're looking at. You can't just be looking at charts and know what's going on. You have to be intentional. You have to be trading with a purpose. You know what your setup is. You know what your entry is, your stop loss, your potential profit targets. You're quick with it. If it comes down to those levels, take your profits. You're not just sitting there waiting for the market to do its thing, right? You gotta take that market and it's like a wild horse. You gotta tame that wild horse. You can't just let it do whatever it wants because it's gonna blow up your account. I promise you. um,
it's like, so be super aggressive. I mean, it's have that mentality,
Yeah.
that lion like conquer mentality. But then at the same time, you got to be humble. You got to like, you know, it's like the biggest psychological trip that I've ever experienced.
It's so hard because you also can't be too aggressive because that's gonna screw you over. You can't be too humble because that's gonna screw you over. You can be a little, and then it's also people are like, oh, just act like a robot. And well, no, because a robot, you that's why there's no good AI trading systems because a robot can't trade in the market because it's run by human emotions. So you gotta have some of those too, and it's extremely hard to piece it all together. That's why I always describe the market as like a puzzle. Okay, you have one piece of the puzzle, but you're missing this. You need to get all those together to eventually actually understand and start making money. Now, as you grow and as you learn, some of those pieces, come to you the way Mike has been doing, but you need at least have a foundations of them to, to see those green days. And it's just not about the green days, but it's like Mike has had one or two red days, right? That's how your month should look. You shouldn't have like half the month is red, half the month is green. I would say about 80% of your days should be in the green, even if it's a small green. It's fine. And then the small reds, that's all your red days should be. And the other days should be big wins, right? 80% of your money is going to be made by 20% of your trades. Those home runs are going to come at some point. You're just not chasing them. You're not only trying to hunt for those big home runs. You let them come to you, right?
Yeah,
Whenever the market comes to give it to you, you let it happen.
yeah, those
Um,
they will come for sure.
yeah, they're gonna come, and that's while all the small consistent wins is what's gonna lead you to them. If you're trying to look for them, you're gonna get those huge losses. You're never gonna get it. Um,
Yeah,
Other than that, Mike, you've been in the masterclass, right? The masterclass has been like one of the few things that I've done. It's like a small group oriented for trading, right? Like 40 people we have, and we have four head traders, and we've very much been a lot of small group and focus settings. How would you felt that has been? I haven't gotten much. I've gotten great feedback so far, but I haven't
yeah.
had somebody like in person. So how have you felt about the masterclass?
Oh man, I feel it's great, and it again taps into my goals, and what I want to do, and my mindset is that I constantly want to get better. I constantly want to grow. Why am I not signing up for this masterclass? I messaged with Dawn. I was like, "Do you really think I should sign up for this masterclass?" He was like, "It's up to you. You have you have success right now. We're gonna go over a couple of things, and this." I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. Like he's not forcing me. He was just saying it's up to you. And if I were to just get one thing out of it, which I have already
Mhm.
got like three or four different things, but I improved, I got better, and it's going to ultimately help my trading. And so, look, I've loved it. The live stream that you did, where you literally narrated, like it was like
Well,
beautiful.
the way I thought of the live streams is like they're here to understand what's going on in my mind. So it's like everything I'm thinking, I need to say it. So it's
I
kind of like I was kind of like, okay, everything I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the spy doing this. I'm looking at the VX doing, and it was constant because that's my mind is always fucking going and looking at all these different factors of what's gonna decide my next trade, whether
yeah,
it's a green trade or a red trade. But I'm looking at all those factors, and that's why I'm constantly, I was constantly talking through it. It was
and to,
a fucking felt like a football like what no what's a game what's like a basketball game or a hockey game when they like
for
nonstop talk the commentators or whatever.
no, that
And,
was great. And like that got me into your mind, right? And to see exactly what does it take to be, a successful trader. And I have those thoughts, too.
Mhm.
So like it reaffirmed that like that's what is needed every single day when you're in a trade. Like to look at those. Hey, this is looking at the nine is across here. Looking at frame. All right, hold on. Let's see the next big picture. Third. I mean, you were just. I couldn't. That was great, man. That was so great.
Well, I'm happy you enjoyed that. I wanted to ask you this, Mike. So you did the whole school, you got your PhD and everything like that. How much did that cost you? I'm curious to know how much was your education for your school versus your education right now versus for your trading.
Yeah, man. So I played baseball in college.
Mhm.
Undergrad, I was a biology undergrad,
Did
and
you have any scholarships for your baseball or anything like that?
2 years. Yep.
No.
And then I stopped. I quit. I was really difficult. I went to Arizona State, so I had a lot of fun, and also I needed to like make sure I graduated because it was a challenging subject area. and then I went and got my master's and then my PhD. And so ultimately, everything came out to like 125K, and I
Mhm.
still have loans, going on. I'm almost done. I'm on the public service forgiveness plan, so I get like the loans wiped clean after serving in education for 10 years. So I'm almost done. So that'll be good not to have any debt or whatever. But yeah, it was like 125K, man.
And how much do you spend on your education of your trading? Like core, whatever it is, this core course is, like, if you had to throw in a number, I'm sure you don't know the exact number, but if you were to trade, like, it was 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, like, how much do you think it was?
Yeah, I think I'm probably at like maybe 6 grand.
6 grand.
6.
And that money you spend your education did come mostly after you lost a big chunk.
Yep, 100%. I
So
wish.
imagine now you spent 125 to get your PhD. Let's say let's get crazy. You spent 15, 20,000 on your education for your trading. And this month you're on pace to make 32,000, so you will pay off in your first month. You probably would have saved you all that other money you lost, right? You didn't have to learn the hard way. And I'm only saying that not to be rude or anything. I'm just trying to say that so that if there's a beginner out there that you have a lot of money in your savings, you're like, I'm ready to fucking dive in this trading shit. I'm ready to load up my account.
Yeah,
Just don't do it. If you're gonna invest, you're gonna waste your money. Get yourself a course from somewhere. It doesn't have to be me. Whatever you like the most, I don't care. Get yourself some videos. I don't know. Get yourself on YouTube. Your education. The more money you spend on education, the less money you're gonna spend on blowing up your account. And that's one thing. If I were to go back and tell myself, because I was one of those people that's like, when I was first trading, I was kind of like, didn't know who to trust. And at the time, the trading world was a lot more smaller than it is now. There's only a handful of people, and then I didn't know if I was like, damn, should I buy a course? I don't really have that much money. I was broke in the army, and I didn't. And then I blew up some accounts and blew up my money. And it wasn't even just the money for me, because I didn't have a ton of money to blow up anyway. It was more the time that I wasted. It was like years of trying to figure it out on my own, where I could have been much faster if I just spent fucking $500 on a course for myself.
100%.
Which leads me to my next question. If you go back, Mike is about to load up his account. He's right there putting in $30,000 in his traded account. The future Mike goes back to him, and what are you going to tell him? Before you do anything, this is my number one advice for you. What would you tell him?
Honestly, I mean, people say like if you paper trade, you're not going to get the really good feeling of it. I like to. I wish I could tell my previous self to do paper trading and to learn who you are as a trader, um, know the psychological battles, and do trial and error on these new things or on these approaches to trading. There's a lot of different styles out there, a ton of different styles, and you need to find out what style that jiving with you and who you are as a person and everything, and then deposit your money and reap the benefits, because you'll be like 85% successful versus 40% successful on all your trades. And if you're 40% successful on all your trades, you're losing money. It's
Yeah.
just it's just for me. I'm 10x. I'm using losing money on a lot higher amount than a normal person, because I just had that like disposable money just to just throw away like an idiot. So yeah, that's what I would say, man, for sure, is to paper trade, to trial and error, to find out who you are, get in the market, get familiarized with all the things that you need to know, like earnings. When are earnings going to come around? The federal, government is always putting out these meetings and BS stuff that can move the market. You got to
Reports, the inflation report, this is the PPI report, CPI report, this report. You got to know how.
up at like 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock, like some jokester is going to be talking, and then you got to be aware, like, am I going to hold my position during this time? So if you don't, I mean, even little things like what happens, what is a Santa rally? Like all these random things that you just don't know. Like you
The
need to,
seasonality of trading, which is very true, the seasonality of the stock market is an actual thing.
yeah, it is.
Uh,
And you got to get familiarized with it. And so,
mhm.
like, I'm just now getting it at 2 years now down the road when I was, so I'm successful now, but I was down, man. I was down for sure. And
Well,
I would,
what would you tell yourself, right? Because I'm sure, like, mentally, it was super, super hard to like be like, I'm gonna keep trading. A lot of people would be like lost 50,000, or they lose a couple thousand, and like, I'm done trading. And they want to touch the shit against this camp. right? It's a scam, or it's like, oh, it's all like all these negative thoughts, which is understandable, but like, how did you flip those negative thoughts to be like, you know what, fuck this, I'm a conqueror?
I think there's Antonio. I think there's only a few people in this world that are like me, and
Mhm.
those ones are like successful. And I'm a hard worker. I never give up. I think that that's what's been, where I'm at and why I've been so successful outside of trading, is I never give up and in anything. And I know eventually something's gonna crack, and I'll win. And that's what I've taken towards trading. If I would have given up before the summer, I would have been out, a lot of money, man, like 200 plus thousand dollars in the red, and never have recouped it back, and going through life like just disappointed and like a failure. But I stuck to it. So you got to, man. You got to develop that, like, mentality of just never giving up, and keep learning and striving, and that sort of thing, man.
Well, I tell people all the time, it's trading's not for everybody. You gotta have a bulletproof mindset if you're gonna get into trading. If you're somebody that, like, hey, for example, like, and I don't mean trying to be mean to people, but it's like you get depressed easily, you get sad easily, you don't really look to achieve big things in life. More, I'll tell you now, you're probably not get successful trading. Look for something else. Like, for example, I have three sisters, right? Two are old enough that they can be trading. One is not, she's too young, but they don't have the mindset to become a trader. That's why I never even approached them to learn to trade, because they're, I know they just don't have what it takes. So it is a very niche group of people that can do it, and the ones that can do it, you make a ton of money. Tell everybody, give it a try, but it's like I said, it's not for everybody. Other than that, Mike, do you have any last thoughts that you wanna give to people out there, some of your fans or your new fans now, before we end the interview? And I want to thank you again for coming in and share your experiences and a lot of things that even I learned about you and your trading and everything like that.
Yeah, thanks, man, and I hope that we continue this journey together. I do think that, like, it the amount of, like, praise that I get from the community, just is so nice. It's uplifting, and sometimes I feel like I'm gloating, and I'm not trying. I'm not trying to, like. I just want to show everybody that it's possible, and I'm happy. I'm doing really well now, and it's not like that. And keep in mind, guys, I'm still down overall, but the support that everyone has been giving me and each other, we're all successful. I mean, when we are successful, it's praise. It's like thumbs up. It's like, hey, proud of you, man. And I love that. And we need to continue to keep that mindset that you know, uh, you're green. Let's go. Nice work. Keep it up. And if you're red, hey, it's all right. You're gonna get it back. Shake it off. Tomorrow's a new day. And I love that, and that helps reaffirm, like, that mentality that I need to always have. So thanks, man. I can't thank you and the community enough, bro. Like, for real.
Well, we'll all have you there, Mike. And when you left me for a few weeks, I remember, so I was upset. Just messing with you. But again, thank you for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed this interview, if you guys learned from Mike, hit the like button. Leave him a nice message in the comments. You're gonna be reading the comments, so leave him a nice message. Subscribe for more interviews, more videos. And Mike, do you have any social media people should follow you? Do you have any of that?
All I got is Instagram, MG_Hodges. You can come follow me on that. Um,
Should go
yeah,
send him a message if you guys have any more question. I'm sure he'll reply to all of them. I'll also put somewhere on the screen your Instagram handle so people can go follow you.
message me anytime.
Uh,
I'd love to answer any questions. I want to give back as much as I can.
all right. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you.
All right, bro. Thank
All
you.
right.